I'm Antonio Centeno. I'm the founder of Real Men, Real Style. Today, I'm going to be sharing with you my 10 style rules, the rules I use to make decisions of how I'm going to dress, how I'm going to present myself. Now, if you haven't already, would appreciate it if you would like this video, if you find it useful, and subscribe. That way, these videos come right to you. And if you want more information about men's style, I've got a free 47-page ebook. Go grab it. Lots of great information there. Okay, so why does this matter? How are you going to use these 10 rules? Well, let me tell you how. You know how there are all these things that you're going to hear out there, very, very restrictive rules in a sense of, no brown in town, or you can't wear black tie until a certain time of day, or that you maybe need to wear, there are rules with patterns. There are rules with pocket squares. How does it go with leathers? You need to match leathers. You need to match metals. Well, what happens if you have a gold wedding ring, but you like silver? So I get these questions a lot. And so I'm hoping that the 10 rules I'm about to give you, and I'll go into a lot more detail in articles. So make sure to click on the link below this video and I'll go into more detail. But really quickly, I want to lay out the 10 rules that I follow. Number 1, give a damn. So excuse my language, guys, but I find most men don't really care. And that's an advantage to those of us that do. But I think that if more men understood the power of presentation, they would use it to their advantage. And that's the key, is to really understand the power of how this can improve your life, how you change what their first impressions of you. Because oftentimes when we meet somebody, we don't even get a chance to open our mouths before they've made an impression. So make sure that you control your image. And some of you guys are also thinking, gosh, I just don't have time, Antonio. I've got all these other things. Well, you know what? I've got 3 young children. I've got a wife I like to spend time with. I own 2 companies. I'm a busy guy too. And I definitely understand that we've just got 24 hours in a day. But when you're saying that you don't have time for this, what you're really saying is that it's not a priority. So try saying that. And if succeeding in life, if doing better, if improving your relationships is not a priority, well, I'm sorry, I'm just probably the wrong channel for you. I know, sorry guys, harsh, but I really want you to take this seriously and I want you to care because that's where it all starts. Okay, so number 2, know your history. Why is this important? Because menswear has a long storied history. And a lot of guys think that, especially here in the United States, that somehow dressing sharp is feminine, that it is not manly to dress sharp, that manly men go out there and they don't care about how they present themselves and they grunt and they do all these other things. I don't know where this impression is coming from, but guys, I can tell you that if you talk to a United States Marine and you tell him that his uniform doesn't matter, that we cared about our uniforms when I was in the Marine Corps. In fact, we understood where certain pieces came from. All the swords that we carried, there was a story behind both the senior enlisted sword and the officer sword. The stripe that runs down a corporal's, basically the blood stripe that runs down on a pair of dress blue trousers. You can ask any corporal or staff NCO in the Marine Corps where that comes from, and he can tell you. Ask any officer, what is the quarter foil on the top of his cover? What does that stand for? I mean, when you look at a jacket, if we were to fold this up, that actually looks very similar to a military jacket, and that's where they come from. These lines, the function, the use, all of this has a military history. The boutonniere, all of this, very cool stories. And when you understand that, you have the courage, you have the strength to dress in a manner which suits you. Number 3, don't be afraid to lead. So I find a lot of guys they're scared to be the best dressed man in the room. That's really what it comes down to. They don't want to dress sharp because they want to look like everyone else. Have the courage to be the best dressed man in the room. It's a great feeling. It's really nice to receive compliments. People will look to you for leadership. Have the courage to step up. Number 4, know your why. This is important. So if you're a creative and you're out in San Francisco and you're trying to do amazing things, you've got a different reason for dressing sharp and controlling your image than perhaps a computer programmer down in Austin, Texas, or over in New York City, a banker, or down maybe in Miami, an entertainer. Whatever your goal in life is, you've got a why, you've got a reason. I'm a father of 3 and, married to a beautiful woman. I live in Wisconsin in the middle of nowhere. My why, and why do I get dressed up when I go to meet my son's teacher? because I want to send a strong image of my family. I represent myself. I represent my family. I represent my company when I go meet with her. And I want her to have a strong impression so that that carries over to my son. That's my why. You have to figure out what your why is, because there are going to be days you don't feel like doing this, or you don't feel like getting dressed sharp. But if you understand your why, that emotional trigger will help you dress sharp on that day. Number 5, understand clothing fit. Put out some cool infographics on this, but it's not just about the fit of your suit. That's what most of us think, but it's also about the fit of your casual clothing as well. Number 6, buy timeless clothing. What do I mean by that? I want you to spend and invest in pieces and not feel bad about spending $1,000 on a suit. If you get a suit that makes you feel like $1 million, that's a pretty good return, as long as you make that $1 million. The point is, guys, is make sure you invest in something that is going to be around for 10 years. If you buy a $1,000 suit that's classic and timeless, you'll be able to get hundreds of wears out of that suit. And again, not every guy needs to go out and spend $1,000. Many of you could go out and spend $200 focusing on that fit. But if you make sure all the style, everything is classic, and you're still getting, 100 wears out of that $200 suit, that's great. And that's what I teach. I mean, you can go into a thrift store and for $15 find something amazing, but focus on something that's going to be in style 10 years from now. And the best way to do that is to look to the past. All right, so you also want to buy the best that you can afford. Now, I was just talking about this. I know many of you guys are on a tight budget. That's fine. Go to thrift stores, look for sales, go to box stores, make do with what you can. Get everything tailored to adjust. But if you can afford it, consider stepping up with the fabric. Look at the build. Work with artisans. I was just talking about hats in an earlier video, and my friend Satya, she makes these amazing hats over in New York City. Now, they're all handmade. They're being made in New York City by people that live in New York. So you can bet the price is going to be higher. But these are amazing pieces of craftsmanship. Very different from anything that you would walk into Target and grab. Both are hats, but one is a much higher quality, has a very interesting story, and I think is something that literally, you could pass on to your grandson or to your son. Okay, practice dressing sharp. Guys, I see a lot of guys, they only wear a suit when they have to. And so when they're putting it on, it's almost like a costume because they only wear it once or twice a year. They don't feel comfortable in it. Practice dressing sharp. Make it something that's a daily habit. That way, when you need to dress sharp, it's something that you do every day. Practice, we see it in sports all the time. You don't just walk out on a football field and be able to catch the ball and do some, we see these guys in the NFL, they practice. What we don't see is every single day. They're either resting, they're practicing, or they're training. And it needs to be, I'm not saying that we need to take it to that extent with style, but I am saying always try to put your best foot forward. Then it's going to be effortless. It's not going to require any effort when you want to do it. All right, so number 9 is know your environment. What do I mean by this? I mean, understand where you're going. So if you're a pastor and you're going to be going into a meeting with a lot of people that are basically working in the fields, well, you want to dress so that you can convey trust. Now, if you're that same pastor and you're going to meet with people at a high level company and they're all going to be dressed nice, you want to dress a different way. You want to convey trust. If you're looking to go get a loan so that you can build a new church, you want to dress in a way that you will send a signal that you can be trusted, that you can be understood, that you can speak their language, and they can trust you with the money that you're going to use to invest in what you want to get done. Okay, the last one, guys, number 10, interchangeability. Buy clothing that is, in a sense, can be worn with many things. Now let's quickly look at this shirt here. This is a new shirt that I had made. This is really not that interchangeable of a shirt because it's very memorable. The stripes are very bold. A white shirt, a solid blue shirt, that would be something that really would be interchangeable with so many things in my wardrobe. This one is a little bit harder to match. So focus on your base wardrobe being items which are classic, which are going to work with other items versus going off and buying something that maybe is a bit loud and you think looks great, but doesn't work with anything else in your wardrobe. Okay, guys, those are my 10 rules. Let me know what you think in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. And that's it. I will see you guys in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.